Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Cancer. If Cancer is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so if you haven't subscribed yet, please think about doing that. I don't want you to miss any of your readings. So you hit that little bell and it'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. It is free to subscribe. We would love for you to be part of the community here at the channel. So think about doing that. All right, and so let's look at these tea leaves. Our card for tonight is the Four of Cups, which in the Thoth deck has to do with luxury. Immediately I see we have somebody who is in the posture of prayer, devotion, heart open to the beloved, to the divine. I see the luxury card, as maybe a lot of readers do, as being an abundance of love, emotionality, to splendor, and that abundance of the Amulet, and have a closeness that is beyond just the ordinary romantic love, eros. Amorous love. This is a love that is beyond that. It is the thing that flows through all things. This is the water that creates, and this is something that once we know it, once we have drunk of it, it is hard not to spend our life devoted to it. This is not unlike the saints, holy people, people who marry themselves to some religious order or spiritual system, a philosophy, activism, community, whatever it is. That thing, it's the thing that runs through all of those things. And it's hard. It's hard to turn away from it once you know. And so I look at this and I see this is something that you know about. This is something that you've probably known about for a long time. It's important. It maybe is the priority of your life. And maybe you have a pretty ordinary thing going. You might have a family or, career-minded, community-connected, a creative or not. You have interests and hobbies and all these things. But inside of all of that thing, I like to always think of it as, in our chest, we carry this. In old temples, it would be called the monk's cella or the monk's cabinet. And it was in the innermost room of a temple. There are many rooms, of course, but there were interior rooms that only the initiated could enter. And usually only the highest of initiation. And within those rooms, they kept things like a eternal flame, maybe, something that was always lit. This was kind of the essence of the spirit. But there were also little cabinets or little kind of little hidden things in the wall where they would keep holy objects, icons things that represented whatever deity or intelligence this temple was related to. And in my mind, in my romantic mind, I like to think of all of us carrying these monks' cabinet cella right in our chest, right there, right in that heart chakra. It's always there for us, and if we know it yet or not, if we ever come to be acquainted with it or not, that's up to you. But I do think that this is a place where there is a profound devotion. You are in your routine, you are in your faith, you are in grace. You're very close to spirit. Now, spirit always is in our life, but, it's up to us to have eyes to see and ears to hear. And it seems as though you are aligned with that. And that's a beautiful thing. There's a lot to that. I imagine you're having dreams and visions and synchronicities and creative influxes and these kinds of things. And, it is important that when this happens, not only do we keep note of it, but that we remind ourselves that we are beings that are corporeal, at least partly. We do kind of walk around base reality, our shared material world. And when we get into these places, it's easy to lose sight of our responsibilities. So I look at this, and it, to me, kind of is a reminder, with all the splendor of the divine, which is wonderful, you must also upkeep the foundation. You must keep the house, the temple standing, right? It is the house. It is maybe even like the guest house that we get to live in, right? And we must take care of it. We must honor it. So going about your routines, seeing to your responsibilities, doing whatever that is for you, getting enough sleep, restful sleep, eating well as you can, getting the intentional movement to your level of ability, drinking water, fluids, and, going outside, making sure that you go out and see the world a little bit. Okay, let's see. Now we have a 5 here. A large 5, and it seems to be attached to the top of, it looks like some kind of flower with a pod underneath. And I think of like a thistle, those pretty purple flowers, and beautiful yet very, very sharp in places, and enduring. Really a very hardy plant, very hardy flower. And so I look at this, and the 5, whatever 5 is for you, whatever that relates to, whatever that brings up for you. I will not apply meaning to letters or numbers, because we all have different systems and jargon and, correlations and so on. Now with the flower, I would say that really there is a toughness there, a hardiness. Okay. You are something that is so divine and so much yourself. There's no other way you could be. I think that at times you worry that other people don't hear you, they don't see you. That maybe you don't even exist, but you do. And there are those of us out here that do hear you and do see you. And there's love. And there is a spirit that does not stop in you. You continue on. And what is maybe frightening about you to some other people is that you're okay with yourself. You're okay with being with yourself. There's not a desperation of needing to connect. This may be sometimes a little bit of a feeling of being, I don't know, an imposter. Maybe you question, how good am I at this? Or, do I really know about this? Or do I even really care about this? Things like this, which we all have, right? But you, Cancer, are some of the really realist people because it's hard to manage being inauthentic. There's no way that you're going to devote your life to being something that you are not. And boy, is that it's intimidating to others, I think. It's hard. It's hard to be next to somebody who just is what they are. When you are living a lie. When you are living, with many veneers, many veils, and so on, right? Whatever analogy or whatever. So yeah, I think sometimes it's hard to connect, but you are not alone. There are others like you. They might be out there by themselves as well. But you're not so alone. All right. We also have, it looks like we have a little clown right here. It reminds me of the clown from, what is it? Kenneth Anger's Rabbit Moon. That kind of, I think it's a minstrel more than a clown, but kind of an old-timey with the white satin and just kind of a scary face. Sad and scary. And we have a clown. It's kind of looking over here. We have a fire, a campfire. We have a little tent, maybe a little dog. It looks like a bird here, and we have a snake down here. So it feels like also we have a little forest over here. It feels like we have this beautiful kind of outdoors excursion. And maybe this is literal, but maybe this is kind of, with that clown archetype, with the Fool. I imagine that this is something a bit more surreal. This is something that the moon draws out of you. And I feel like you are, when you're in these deeply spiritual realms, when you go into these periods of time where you are very focused on that work, you very much are in the wilderness. And it looks here, though, like you have that fire, you have that guiding light, that warmth. You have shelter. You're not going into this situation haphazardly. And I think this is what we've been talking about, is that you stay grounded, balanced. You're not just kind of, taking a bunch of plant medicine and seeing what happens, This is a more planned operation, okay? And I do see that there's messaging coming through, not only messaging, but knowledge with the snake there. So this is a most worthwhile time. I feel like, this is kind of like leveling up in some ways, if you would like to think of it that way. But I think there will be some insights here. And some real interesting material for your next works. Okay, so we're going to take a look at this one. And I've been looking at this a little bit. It looks like a K. Just a big K. So whatever that means to you. Okay, and it also looks like a bird on a nest. And then over here, kind of climbing up the side of a mountain. I feel like this is a journey home. Kind of a mending of a relationship of some kind. Maybe with self. This, I think, is going to be the byproduct of some of this deeper work. A sense of return, a sense of easing. You know, I feel like there's a feeling of, there's a focus on rejection happening in this work. And maybe it's not the central theme, but there is a residue of it. And you know, I think that there is healing through that mother archetype, and we talk about her a lot. I do, because it's where my consciousness is often. And usually, although not right now, I don't have any of my mother statues out, but, well, I do have the green Tara, who is definitely that, yes. So at least one. I usually have them. Oh, I forgot. I have the Black Madonna as well. So yes, I do. Two. Yeah, so this is something in my consciousness often, but this is, I mean, one of those major archetypes that we have, right? If we've had a close relationship, a troubled relationship, just an average relationship with mother figures in our life, it does not matter. This is something that, again, kind of runs through all things, and it's in line with that watery, sacred waters, that water of life. It is very much related to that mother archetype. So I do feel there is a return here. Okay. And so often I think when this kind of shows up, there's a sense of mothering self, of I think one of the it's not easy, none of it's easy, but one of the most direct and accessible ways to implement this kind of self-mothering is through affirmations, mantras, positive self-talk. If you could imagine talking to yourself as though you were a child, like when you were a child, and how you would talk to a child. Maybe a child that needs reassurance, that needs comfort, that needs to be encouraged, you know, pointed out, where your successes are, where your strengths are. You know, a sense of radical self-love. Okay, but from the posture of a mother who is doting, unconditionally in love and loving, who is attentive and emotionally available. Okay, so, you know, this is a place to begin if you are wondering. And these are things that you are so intelligent, you're so creative, you know, you have a natural ability, but not only that, you are just completely, you're so good at continuing on with the work, pushing it further, doing the research, learning, implementing that into the work you're doing. You know, these kinds of things that we would say to maybe our children, right? And so we talk to ourselves this way. And it might seem silly. I mean, it really, it can at first. But really, the language we use, the things we think about, it really reprograms our mind. I feel the same way about gratitude lists, gratitude journals. Not because it's like this, pop psychology things, pop spirituality thing, but because it truly, when we live in a place of finding reasons to be grateful throughout our day, even, especially on our most difficult days, this will help transmute the way that you feel and experience the world. Okay. So yeah, I think that's important. Listen, to be able to re-raise yourself in some ways, that is the ultimate emotional luxury, right? To put that time and effort into yourself. Ooh, talk about self-care. Okay, so we have this, I think it's the Sensei child. It could be Sensei. I don't know. But it says, the affirmation cards, I believe in myself. And I really like these cards. They're beautiful. They're pretty. They're simple. Listen, if you are working on this positive self-talk, getting some of these kinds of affirmation decks that I use on here, good starting point. If you don't exactly know where to begin, getting something like this so you can just look at them. Start to take these into yourself as a way to talk to yourself, that implement it into your internal dialogue. Okay, so I'm going to stop where it feels right, and we're just going to flip it over and read it together. It says, I inhale to recharge and exhale with relief. I inhale to recharge and exhale with relief. Yeah, breath work. So important. My husband turned me on to really, especially when I was pregnant. But he got me into I totally mess up people's names, but I think it's Wim Hof and the cold therapy and the breath work. And it is so helpful. I'm somebody who has a lot of anxiety. I'm very on edge a lot, and implementing the breath work, it is sometimes so very useful. It is often always useful. It's just a matter of remembering to do it. That's what I should say. When I remember to do it, then it is very helpful. So anyways, Cancer, I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help so much. And if you have not subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And it is free to subscribe, so it does not cost you anything. We would love for you to be part of the community here. And if you want to leave a comment, please do. I read them all. I know other people read them as well. We support each other here. In the comment sections, I see you all, interacting and liking each other's stuff. And there's just, I feel like there's really an atmosphere of love and kindness and understanding and support and, all these things. And, the world is just, sometimes it can feel so difficult, so scary to express ourselves that it feels wonderful to have a little place to be able to speak from the heart, and I hope that you feel that you can too. Okay. Cancer, I love you. I love you. I love you. We will talk again really soon. In the meantime, take care of yourself.